to issue the current sorry state of the Nairobi County government. Yesterday, the governor of Nairobi, Johnson Sakaja, did issue the state of the county, but to our surprise and the surprise of many Nairobians and Kenyans, there are so many flaws that has been committed in Nairobi County. To this extent, we have come up and analyzed the Auditor General's report that was released yesterday, 107-page report that is talking about the situation in Nairobi County. We have analyzed page by page from page 1 to the last page, which is page 107, and we have come up with the following facts, the conclusion to which there is serious misappropriation of funds in Nairobi County. There is serious embezzlement of funds in Nairobi County. There is serious pilferage of funds in Nairobi County. There is serious defrauding of the hard-earned money for the Nairobians, and there is serious misrepresentation of facts. To be short, the factoids presented by the current governor of Nairobi. First, I want to talk to Baba about this, because Sakaja keeps on floating the name of Baba everywhere. And I'm going to talk to Baba. Baba is not part of this thing, but he keeps talking that he is Baba's son. How is he Baba's son when he's stealing? Baba does not support theft. So, hapo kuna shida that we must cure. At the same time, the President of the Republic of Kenya, RUTO. This is serious allegation. Now Sakaja wants to name a hospital after your wife, Rachel Ruto, just to hoodwink. This is emotional blackmail. He's mobilizing people emotionally. This is emotional blackmail. Yeye, every time ume notice that kama kuna kitu inakuwa shida, inaungua, he rushes to the president. That is the time he goes there very fast. What is the president doing? The MCAs, the county government of Nairobi. Yesterday I did hear the speaker clearly of the county government of Nairobi talking a lot of gibberish and balderdash and nonsense, because he could be part of this scheme that are embezzling funds meant for Kenyans and supporting the governor, this fraudulent governor. The MCAs are disappointing Nairobians and Kenyans, because money meant for development, this money should go to different wards. What the MCAs are not realizing, this development should go to different wards, up to the ward level, the village level in Nairobi. But they are quiet about this thing. They don't want to talk about this thing. Some of them are very okay. Some of them have been pocketed. This is a work after this dossier. This is something that the county government should take into consideration, and immediately an impeachment motion should be brought forward for this matter, because Governor Sakaja is a custodian. He has the fiduciary nature, the contractual nature that is signed as an agent of the people to take care of the funds of the people, but himself is misappropriating these funds. So this is sufficient ground. What else do you need? We want to see how the MCAs are going to behave. So on that, we've been failed by the MCAs, who should really do their work. Today, I want to count. And number one is the unqualified opinion. If the auditor talks about unqualified opinion, means that things are okay and there is no any problem with the books of the account. If the Auditor General talks about qualified opinion, means that there are audit queries but adequate information provided in the audited statements. And if they recommend a disclaimer, then it means that information provided for audit is inadequate. And lastly, if there is an adverse opinion, then it means that the situation is terrible because of material and pervasive breaches. In our situation, there is an adverse opinion from the Office of the Auditor General. And therefore, my analysis consists of 3 parts. Part A is the adverse opinion, and it reads, the Auditor General says that they cannot confirm the accuracy and completeness of the financial statements provided by Sakaja for the financial year 2022-2023. The difference in payment reported by the financial statements and the ledger, which ordinarily should be the same, is 5 billion Kenya shillings, which is lost, and that is found on page 2 of the Auditor General's report. Therefore, the Governor of Nairobi cannot explain the 9 billion in pending bills. Also in page 2, the Controller of Budget did approve 17 billion. Out of the 17 billion, the Governor only paid 8 billion as pending bills, but 9 billion is lost. In addition to that, the pending bills balance, as indicated, is 98 billion, which the Auditor General says that could be hot air. Assets acquired by the county government are overstated by 320 million Kenya shillings, which is lost as per page 3 of the Auditor General's report. Next is the bank balances show that KRB, the RMLF indicates that 818 million Kenya shillings, that is what it indicates, while it should be 965 million Kenya shillings, which means that 147 million Kenya shillings is lost. Lost by lost means stolen or defrauded. Next is the recurrent account reports nil. The current account reports nil balance while it should have 365 million Kenya shillings, which means that 365 million shillings is also lost. Next is the revenue account shows closing balance at nil while it should have been 1.9 billion Kenya shillings. Its opening balance also shows nil while it was 1.3 billion Kenya shillings. Therefore, the total amount of money lost there is 3.2 billion Kenya shillings. That is found on page 3 of the Auditor General report. Part D of it says that balances of 561 million in 43 bank accounts not supported at all. Auditors cannot confirm the accuracy of cash balances of 1.44 billion Kenya shillings. Number 7, for assets acquired through NMS amounting to 620 million Kenya shillings, which is unsupported, payments were made of 3.5 billion shillings and a further 3.7 billion Kenya shillings found on page 4. Air was paid. By air it can mean oxygen, carbon dioxide, or any other air. Air was paid, or hot air was paid for at 60.8 million Kenya shillings, apparently for floodlights, but no supply was done and no entry was made for the same, found on page 4 of the report. Sakaja says he paid salaries of 11.2 billion Kenya shillings, but records of banks and IPPD shows only 8.8 billion Kenya shillings. Hence, 2.2 billion Kenya shillings was paid to ghost workers. By ghost workers, now it means that that money has been stolen. Purported payments of 161 million Kenya shillings and 93 million Kenya shillings to temporary workers were not supported by any documents at all. That is on page 5 of the report. Number 10, 226 million Kenya shillings from the salary account was paid through 46 fictitious transactions, not supported at all and not related to salaries, which means 226 million again stolen. That is on page 5 of the report. That is part A on adverse opinion. Part B says other emphasis. Other areas where money has been lost. Number 1, despite reporting to have spent 29.2 billion against a budget of 39.6 billion, the county committed additional 17.8 billion, meaning it spent a total of 47.1 billion, which is 7.5 billion shillings above the budget. Now you can see where the fraud is, because they've budgeted for money, but they've spent above what they budgeted for. So which means they were spending on what they didn't budget for. That is on page 6 of the report. Despite the county having a whooping, that is number 2, despite the county having a whooping 832 cases, this is where now there is serious fraud. The county had 832 cases. A mere 11 advocates were owed 10.7 billion Kenya shillings. 11 advocates owed 10.7 billion Kenya shillings in fees, and a further 121 advocates owed another 10.2 billion Kenya shillings. Hence, legal fees for 132 lawyers stood at 20.9 billion Kenya shillings. So you want to tell me that Sakaja has already paid 11 advocates 10.7 billion Kenya shillings. It means that every advocate was pocketing 1 billion, close to around or approximately 1 billion Kenya shillings. What is the governor doing? That is found on page 6. The county has not resolved audit issues raised by the previous audit report. Number 4, the county did not report the various funds being run by the county, e.g. disaster fund, and there you heard what happened even in Embakasi East constituency when there was serious disaster resulting from the gas explosion. A budget of 285 million disappeared. Not even a shilling was used to help any of the victims from the county government. Not even a mattress, not even Piriton was bought to give my people to sleep so that they could not feel the pain. Despite withdrawing, that is number 5, despite withdrawing 30.5 billion from the county revenue fund, no reports were filed with the Office of the Auditor General. Remember, 30.5 billion was withdrawn, but no report filed. That is on page 7 of the report. Number 6, Nairobi Pay, the absolute revenue management system vendor, operates without a valid contract. I did talk to the majority leader of the county assembly, Mheshimiwa Imwatok, and he said that on Tuesday next week they will table a report on the same, and that the report says that was written in Mombasa, that there was a recommendation from the committee. The MCS said that the governor should be prosecuted. That is what the decision was. And that report, as we speak, Governor Sakaja is working so hard so that the report is not tabled next week on Tuesday. will follow it up. Number 7, payment for roads and civil works amounting to 567 million was not supported by any document, which means that 567 million for roads was paid but not supported. So members of the press and Nairobians, have you seen those roads being constructed? According to the last report, the analysis showed that the amount of money that was spent was only 400 million. But here, that is for all the development that Sakaja did. The first development that he claimed to have done was about the school feeding program, that he spent 200 million Kenya shillings. Then the next one was the Dandora Stadium, which was a continuation that he spent around 33 million. Then the rest of the money, which was around 167 million, went to roads. But here we are being told 567 million went to roads. So where is the money for these roads? That's on page 8. Number 8, the same contractor who failed to finish 3 dispensaries in 2020-2021 at 869 million was given another contract for Mama Lucy Hospital at 344 million by Governor Sakaja, and since he has abandoned the project after pocketing 165 million Kenya shillings, which he has been paid, that is found on page 8. Number 9, an amount of 32 million Kenya shillings was given to fictitious 683 beneficiaries. Hiyo ni hewa, 32 million ilienda kwa hewa, stolen. That is on page 11 of the report. Number 10, despite buying vehicles for 100 million only, the county government paid 771.6 million to vehicle vendors, those who are selling vehicles, 671.6 million in excess of the 100 million that was budgeted for. So that money has been stolen. Remember, the vehicles were supposed to be bought at 100 million, but the amount of money that was paid to the person who was selling the vehicles was 771.6. Therefore, 671.6 million has been stolen, found on page 12 of the report. Number 11, despite the law requiring that salaries don't pass 35% of total revenue, the county paid 37% of 30.5 billion, blatantly breaching the law. Number 12, incompetence and deals facilitated double payment of leave allowance of 15.4 million to 178 favored county staffs, found on page 13 of the report. Number 13, despite having their gross pay properly paid, 26 officers were paid additional 17.6 million Kenya shillings without any reasons, which means that those were conduits for removing money from county accounts. That is found on page 14. Number 14, an entire 393 employees not tax exempt were paid 52.5 million Kenya shillings without pay as you earn tax deductions, which means that money for KRA was stolen there. So KRA, mko na kazi, wacheni kufuata watu airport mkitafuta underwear ya watu huko na kutafuta vitu za watu. Kazi, pesa iko hapa kwa county. That is on page 14. Number 15, some 395 employees were paid additional salaries of 100 million that cannot be explained. Probable collectors for some big short, found on page 14. Everything that I'm reading are very factual, and these are as per the Auditor General's report. Number 16, out of 13,354 employees of the county, only 167, which is 1.25%, are persons with disabilities against legal requirements of 5%. They should be 5%, not 1.25%. So there is no compliance. So therefore, the governor, you must up your game and employ persons with disabilities. That is found on page 14. Question number 17. Despite deductions, despite deducting pay as you earn, NSSF and NHIF of 1.72 billion, the county government did not remit those statutory deductions, which means that they are deducting, but they are stealing these monies. They are not remitting. Number 18, on the drama of legal fees, 375.9 million paid irregularly as follows. That runs from page 18 to page 24 of the Auditor General's report. Number A part of it, 34 million paid, 34 million Kenya shillings paid were a fee note of 80 million, which was raised in a case which was before the High Court in a commercial transaction, case number 1581 of 2014, to defend the county on outstanding land rates of 5.4 million. So 34 million was paid. Okay? The advocate raised a legal fee of 80 million. So I want you to note the nature of these cases and why 80 million should be raised for such cases. That was in 2014, but money has been paid now. Okay? So which means that one of the ways by which the governor uses to steal money from the county is through these legal fees. Using these lawyers, they have very exorbitant, expensive, high fee notes. Then that is where the government takes 50% of what he pays. And that is an agreement that he makes before. And that is what he dangles to some of the MCAs, that if you don't fight me, bring one lawyer, I pay your legal fees. So that is what is happening at the county. Part B of it, 47 million were paid where a fee note of 78 million was raised to represent the county in a matter which was the Environment and Land Court, case number 248 of 2021, where a small plot was double allocated by the county in Kayole. Part C, on the 17th, mwezi wa saba, 17th mwezi wa saba 2023, 57.8 million Kenya shillings was paid to a law firm for defending. Now, I want you to hear this is very serious. 57.8 million paid to a law firm for defending the county in a matter which was in the court, in the Environment and Land Court, case number 18 of 2022, against Ndakaini Dam land compensation of 1989, where a fee note of 77.9 million Kenya shillings was raised. So he paid 57.8. D, on the same month, same day, 17th, mwezi wa saba 2023, 67 million was paid to an advocate for defending the county in Environment and Land Court, case number 176 of 2021, where a fee note of 100 million was raised against an individual who sued the county for not shortlisting him as a traffic marshal. Mnasikia hii drama kweli, hii ni comedy. This is comedy. Imagine 67 million Kenya shillings was paid to an advocate just for defending the county for not shortlisting a person as a traffic marshal. who is going to earn 18,000 to 20,000 Kenya shillings per month. Why did the governor pay